All right, guys, we just attended the Apple launch for the iPhone 17 series. The keynote presentation was really cool. We're standing outside the Steve Jobs Theater, and we have some very interesting changes this year. I would argue far more interesting than we saw last year. So we got 4 phones now. There are some interesting designs. I'm Chris Niccolls. This is PetaPixel, and I think you're going to enjoy this. When you're recording video, actually having the best audio is key, because if the audio sounds bad, nobody's going to listen to it. So whether I'm using something like a phone on a rig like this with a shotgun microphone for a lot of fly fishing, or maybe I want wireless lav kits or even more advanced equipment, actually one of the best places to get this gear and save money is kh.com. You may not know this. You might think they just sell lenses and camera bodies, but they actually sell so much more. Filters, accessories, microphone and audio equipment. It's all on there, and you can get some great deals on a lot of lightly loved equipment. The great thing about kh.com is their experts have checked over everything thoroughly. They're going to give you very accurate information on any issues that you might have with the gear, and if you still buy it and you feel like it's not right for you, they've got great warranties and great return policies. So definitely check out kh.com next time you're thinking of better audio. Go to kh.com. We highly recommend it. They are PetaPixel's official pre-owned camera gear partner. Interesting enough, it looks like we're not going to see a Plus version of any of the iPhones return. They might be dropping that, but we do have 4 phones here technically. We have the iPhone 17, iPhone Air, the 17 Pro, and the 17 Pro Max. And what I really want to focus on is actually what is the same across all these 4 phones first. So they all have bright screens now, up to 3,000 nits of peak brightness, and they all have the new ceramic shield too, just a more enhanced coating to make things even more rugged. I did absolutely notice an improvement in last year's iPhone 16 screens and how rugged they were against abuse. This is again promising to be like roughly 2 times more. All the screens now have the ProMotion adaptive technology, so they can adjust the hertz rate from 1 to 120 hertz as they need to across all 4 phones. That stuff's all very similar, but again, we like to really focus on these as photographic tools. So what has changed there? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is something we don't normally talk about very often, and that's actually the front-facing camera, the selfie camera. This has been updated. All 4 phones have the exact same camera. This is a 24 megapixel sensor, but it's square, and this is actually really cool. So first off, what it's going to let you do is just dynamically reframe your shots without having to do anything. You can set it yourself, or you can have the camera automatically do it. And out of that square sensor, it's effectively going to treat it like kind of open gate video. If you want to get vertical shots out of this, you can get vertical while holding the phone vertically, but you can also then rotate the frame horizontally while holding the phone vertically, and that is really cool. It can also automatically detect people's faces, so if a friend comes in, it will reframe to cover both of you, and then if it just goes back to you, it'll just go back to a tight frame on you. And this is just going to open up a lot of possibilities for creators. I mean, first off, having the ability to reframe means that it can follow you as you move around in front of the phone, so it can keep you centered even if you're not staying centered. This also makes the image stabilization capabilities better. And the other cool thing is all 4 phones can record both front and rear cameras at the same time. So you could be recording the action out there, but still see your own reactions on you. It's sort of a picture-in-picture display. Now, as a photographer or videographer, you're probably still going to want to focus on the Pro models, but I have to mention the new iPhone Air. It's just a really interesting design. So this is, I think, really aimed at somebody who wants something really fashionable, very easy to carry around. They've gotten this phone down to 5.6 millimeters thick at the actual long extension. The plateau is going to be thicker than that. Now, when it comes to cameras, I don't think this is going to be super appealing to creators, but I mean, it's got the same main camera as the iPhone 17 base model, and it just has that main camera. There's nothing else. But then you have some fusion camera options. So you get your 28 millimeter crop, your 35 millimeter crop, and you can now go to a 2x camera at 12 megapixels. But just having the one camera is going to limit some of your creative potential on this. Still a very interesting phone, maybe more fashion accessory, but it does have some powerful processing inside it. But what I'm really interested in, I know what Jordan's also interested in, is the Pro models. And again, we just have the usual setup. You've got the iPhone 17 Pro with 6.3-inch display, and then the Pro Max, which has a 6.9-inch display. We've got the exact same ultra-wide and main camera that we had from last year, which is fine. They're very good cameras, but we have a big improvement. We didn't love that 5 times telephoto lens that much previously. This is now going to a larger sensor, and it is now a 4 times telephoto, giving you 48 megapixels across the board, regardless of what camera you use. And these cameras are housed in a brand new plateau design. This is actually really interesting to me because this iPhone 17 Pro series looks more rugged and sporty than what you normally see. It's a unibody construction, so rather than having a separate camera housing, everything's machined out of the same block of aluminum, and it does give it this very rugged kind of finish. They're not using titanium as well like they did last year, and I think what they're trying to do is get maximum thermal dissipation by using this unibody, a brand new vapor chamber, because there's some powerful processing involved in here. This definitely looks like a very rugged, durable phone, and I feel like the design, most people are finding it really appealing, but I do think it might actually polarize some users who find it to look a little bit more techy, a little bit more rugged and sporty than they might normally want. So photographically, this leaves me with a lot of questions, just how this is going to perform. And of course, we do have a full review coming where we're going to test the phone out, really play with all the cameras. But this is basically the impression I'm left with. So we've got two of the same cameras we had before, a brand new telephoto one that does promise to have a larger sensor in it, f2.8 aperture in that, so it's about the same brightness. Going down from 5 times to 4 times, I think makes a lot of sense. It gets us into a really usable sort of 100mm full frame field of view equivalent, which is great for portraits. But Apple is still choosing to use a tri-prism design like they did last year on the telephoto, and I don't know what that's going to do for the overall optical quality and results, so we're definitely going to want to test that out. Now also, we recently looked at the Google Pixel 10 Pro, and of course they're pushing this monumental 100 times zoom. Apple's trying to avoid a lot of that. You can do a 40 times digital zoom, but from an optical standpoint, the max they want you to go is 8 times. That is still a fusion crop, okay? It's this whole fusion business where you can go anywhere in between the main cameras fairly seamlessly, but with some compromised things like resolution. So most of the fusion cameras, when you use them, you're going to drop down to 24 megapixels. When you go to the 8 times camera, you're going to drop down to 12 megapixels. But it should give us that sort of 200mm full frame field of view equivalent that we might want to get for when we want to reach out a little bit further. Now, one of the biggest changes that you want to see on a phone is better processing power. So now we've got a new A19 Pro processor, 3nm architecture, 6 cores. We have a new 6-core GPU as well. And again, you know, yes, for gaming to some degree, but this also does give us some benefits when it comes to things like battery life overall, more efficient power use. We hope to see better results when it comes to portrait mode, depth map, all that kind of stuff. You know, all the AI-based and machine learning-based improvements that we can also make to these photographic uses. But it also means big changes for video. So let's bring out Jordan to talk about that. Jordan, you want to talk about video?
Yeah, let's talk about video here.
Oh, wait, actually, oh no, we don't have time. We actually have to go record the podcast. So yeah, after the podcast.
All right, it's Jordan here in the podcast green room at Apple Park, here to talk about some of the video features that we've seen. And the clear headline on this is that it can record now ProRes RAW. This is a RAW video format that's been around for quite a while that gives you a ton of flexibility in post if you want to dramatically change your white balance, do larger exposure shifts. In terms of quality, it's not substantially different from the ProRes 422HQ that's already offered in the iPhone. It's just more flexibility in post. But what Apple didn't say during the keynote is you'll be able to record open gate in this mode, so you can use the entire 4:3 sensor area and reframe afterwards in post, which is really cool. Now, ProRes RAW files are very, very big, and you're only going to be able to record ProRes RAW over to an external drive for that, but you're probably going to want to anyways, because those files will be massive. However, it's worth pointing out, if you do get the iPhone Pro Max this year, you'll have access to up to a 2 terabyte drive. Anyways, these are the things that Chris and I found most exciting about the new iPhone 17 lineup. But stay tuned, because we're working on our 17 Pro and Pro Max review right now while you're watching this. That will be up next week. Definitely going to want to check that out when we actually get these cameras in our hands and can really put them through their paces. But hey, we just recorded a podcast here at Apple Park, and you're going to be able to watch that right here on this same YouTube channel, or if you want to listen to it, just search for PetaPixel Podcast on all of your favorite podcasting apps. And the best way to support us so we can go on trips down to California to talk about the latest tech is with a PetaPixel membership. It helps us, but it helps you too, because you'll be able to look at PetaPixel ads-free, download sample images from the latest cameras that we've reviewed, and get discounts from Moment and KH and the PetaPixel merch store. It's absolutely worth checking out. I hope you do, and we'll see you all soon with more on PetaPixel.